Welcome to the Restaurant Show. I'm Justin Riley, your host, and I hope you stick around because we've got some great local food with some great local restaurants. We'll be joined by Dashalito's hot sauce. Rob is going to teach us how to make 4-minute salsa with some delicious, refreshing cucumber salad. We'll also be joined by the folks from Nutrition and Culinary Services over at Upland Hills Health. They're going to talk about some great healthy snacks and meal options for your kids as they head back to school. We'll also be joined by Blow and Smoke Barbecue. It's all coming up right here on the Restaurant Show where you can skip the rest and enjoy the best. We'll tell you where to eat on the Restaurant Show.
This episode of The Restaurant Show brought to you by AccuClimb Mechanical Services.
Hi everyone, welcome back to The Restaurant Show. We are so excited today to welcome back Mr. Robert Grether from Dashalito's Hot Sauces and Spicy Foods. Welcome back, Rob. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Great to be here.
Good. Settle down with the knife now. What are we doing today, sir?
We are going to make some things with some cucumbers and some tomatoes, some cilantro. We're basically going to make just a fresh salsa or kind of gazpacho idea. We're going to mix in some hot sauces and give people some examples of what they can do with all the vegetables that are probably either ready to be picked or coming soon from their gardens.
Nice.
Everybody's probably got a lot of tomatoes, a lot of cucumbers.
Well, I know as a person who likes to dawdle in gardens, tomatoes are easy to grow, but then you end up at this time of year having a whole lot of tomatoes in your garden and not a whole lot to do with them. So here, folks at home, is an idea of how you can utilize all your beautiful different varietals of tomatoes at home and do something fresh and exciting with them and something spicy. And cucumbers too. So we'll see what's happening here. So how have things been for the summer for Dashalito's? Everything treating you well?
Things are great.
Good. Keep it busy, I'm sure.
I am, and I'll talk more about that in a second. Just let people know right now, all I'm doing is real simple, just dicing. I've got some Roma tomatoes. Those are kind of a go-to tomato around our house. They're kind of firm, they're kind of easy to work with, and they go good on sandwiches, things of that sort.
Exactly. 'Cause some of the bigger tomatoes, I notice, beefsteaks and things you cut and they kind of juice all over and they're not quite as easy to handle. Yep.
You're exactly right. So you can cut them into just simple dicing. You can do it in different ways, but we're just going to kind of prepare them to be put into a bowl, mixed in with some cucumber. And like I said, I made this the other day and it kind of worked out like a gazpacho. So
tell us about what a gazpacho is, just in case there's any questions for our viewers. Not everyone's had that before.
Yeah, I think just in a real simple statement about gazpacho, it's a cold tomato soup. I was actually reading in a book just recently, and there was a whole bunch of different gazpacho recipes that had nothing to do with the more, kind of traditional recognized gazpacho that I'm more familiar with. So in my experience, I'm just using kind of a tomato-based gazpacho idea. And the same thing goes with the cucumbers. You can kind of have it with or without it, but I think that's part of the whole thing that makes it, gazpacho.
Is that's pretty typical then, tomato-based cucumber and then cold. So it's a summer idea of a
summer
soup.
But yeah, and this isn't going to be real soupy. I made it the other day. I added some Bloody Mary mix from a friend, some friends of ours at the 100 Mile Sauce Company here in Madison.
Oh.
Have a delicious Bloody Mary mix that I had at my house. We were getting ready to go have a day at the lake. And
sounds like fun.
It was
so
great.
those folks out there at 100 Mile, what is it called?
100 Mile Sauce Company.
Sauce Company.
Yep.
You can call Rob and thank him for mentioning you on television on the Restaurant Show.
Friends of ours, are great guys.
No, I've had their Bloody Mary mix. It's fantastic. I think they have some other products too.
Yep, they have a barbecue sauce and some other things. So yeah, it's a real simple. We've only got like 7 minutes here to do this, but you can see I'm already pretty much done. Take some cilantro, kind of chop that up.
So here we have cilantro, often used in salsas and other kinds of kind of fresh greens type dishes, right?
So, salsa, speaking of salsa, Dashalito's has a salsa that we've made in the past, but we are not doing much with. Just this summer here, we won
delicious.
State fair. We were in the state fair, Jam and Jamboree, or eats, treats competition. A little bit
So
of
this
salt.
is the Wisconsin State Fair, I think we're referring to.
Yep.
Takes place in Milwaukee every summer. Was just last week. We've done some stuff there with the TV station and the restaurant show, so they have a good time there. So sounds like Dashalitos won.
Dashalitos was there for 2 different categories, a little bit of lime juice, cilantro, lime, salt, cucumber, and tomato. Dashalitos was there for 2 different categories. We were in the hot sauce and barbecue sauce. We don't have a barbecue sauce, but we went up against the hot sauce or the barbecue sauces.
And how did it do?
We got 2nd place for the,
Right, congratulations.
for the green owl, and we got 3rd place for the red honey. We also, so I'm just going to add a little bit of green fire. You know, as I tell everybody always, just kind of add it at your own pace.
Adding it to taste, and I think
Taste,
that
yeah.
people have seen you do this before. And you give it a little try, and then if it's not spicy enough, you can go and add more or add a different flavor. Or
And you know what you're going to want to do to really get
It
the
looks really
flavors,
beautiful.
to get the flavors to infuse, is you're going to want to chill this, I think, for like an hour. Like I said, if you had some Bloody Mary mix or even some just tomato juice and you wanted to add a little bit of that to this, it would really help to kind of soup it up a little bit. Gazpachos are oftentimes blended, so that would be, you know, like a real kind of like simple kind
As
of
in putting
puree
it,
kind of thing in a blender.
curing it in a blender. Okay, sure.
So you
okay.
have all
So you
these
take
flavors
these
melding
ingredients,
together. Yep.
and then if you wanted to make a soup with these flavors that he's putting together here and these fresh vegetables, you could throw it in a blender or a food processor and puree it.
That's correct.
And literally eat it with a spoon as it is a cold soup. So here you go. Here's your ingredients for
But this is
gazpacho.
more like a salsa.
But this ended up being more like a pico de gallo kind
yeah.
of thing, right?
Yeah, you know, if you wanted to, you could take an avocado, you could cut it in half, take it and just put it in a half and then put some of that in there. You could have made the cucumbers a little smaller, the tomatoes a little smaller, would have been a little more usable for that purpose, or other things, you know, fit onto a chip a little bit easier.
Sure. Well, it's
so
just
this,
beautiful to
you
look
know,
at, I have to say. So if you were going to a summer party or any kind of function coming up soon and you wanted to use your vegetables, you wanted to use the things that were in your garden and also show up with something beautiful.
You've got a spoon right there if you want to try it.
Yes, absolutely. I'm planning on it. It also smells wonderful. Cilantro, if you haven't used it before, is a really strong smelling and fresh tasting herb. So it goes good with a lot of things, especially tomato and cucumber mixture. So I'm going to give this a try here.
That's good.
Well done, sir, as always. And spicy. So very
So, yeah,
good. A couple other things to talk
real
about
quick,
here.
If anybody's going to be doing any pickling,
That's delicious.
pickled green beans, we do that. We put in sweet heat and actually fresh cranberries. I don't know if anybody can see that. Totally different recipe. Brussels sprouts, green fire
Oh,
spice
gotta love your Brussels sprouts. Yep. Again, with the Bloody Marys, I think there's like a common theme here, but this stuff isn't bad in Bloody Marys as far as I understand as a
So-
fun little additive. So, pickled Brussels sprout. Fantastic. These are amazing. Here's the deal. Pickling and canning is a lost art, so bring it back. Use your Dashalitos, enjoy the spice, summer fresh foods, and thank you all. Tune in later for more Restaurant Show.
Coming up next on the Restaurant Show, healthy snacks and meals for your kiddos as they head back to school with Upland Hills Health. Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. Kids, believe it or not, it's almost time to go back to school, and I'm really excited about our next guest because they're going to be talking about healthy things to eat during the school year. I'm joined now by Laura Isaacson and Susan Ports from Nutrition and Culinary Services over at Upland Hills Health in Dodgeville. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Always good to have you with us. So, what are we starting with today? You guys got a couple of different spreads here. We're starting with breakfast, and then we're going to do lunch, as I understand.
Yes, we have several things here. So I'm going to start with some bagel thins for breakfast, kind of jumpstart your day, and then something maybe a little bit healthier than your average Lunchable.
Okay.
And then Laura has a little after-school snack.
Oh, okay, very cool. So let's get started with the bagel thins. Is that what
Sure.
those are called?
So I did a couple different options here. So the first one, we're just going to start with some light cream cheese,
Light
and these
cream
are
cheese.
just bagels thin, so the thinner version of a regular bagel.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've seen those before.
Yep, and
Yeah.
we're just gonna put a small layer of cream cheese on there.
Okay.
And then instead of getting like a cream cheese that has fruit in it or some of that extra added sugar, we're just
Yeah.
gonna use some strawberries to add the sweetness.
Yeah. I've heard that berries have, as far as sugar consumption in fruit, berries have like the best sugar. Is there something to that?
Well, it's natural sugar, so that means that it's not added. It was naturally there, which just makes it a little bit better for your body to digest.
Got it, okay. And you've got some raisins there, it looks like?
Yep, so that next one then, we're gonna just use a little peanut butter.
Oh, right.
And kind of same thing, just spread the peanut butter on the bagel. And you can toast this first if you if you would like.
Sure.
And then
and are you using natural peanut butter?
Yes.
Okay.
This is peanut butter with just peanuts.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's unbelievable. I mean, that stuff is actually really, really good. I mean, if you're used to, it's a little bit of a change if you're used to, you know, the store-bought peanut butter that that come in the plastic jars and whatnot, but this is actually really good stuff if you get the natural kind. So what is the importance of breakfast? Why breakfast?
So breakfast is important because it kind of gets you a jump start on your day.
Sure.
It gives you more energy. With kids, they're more likely to pay attention in school, and actually research has shown that kids will actually do better in school and they have better grades if they eat breakfast. So.
Yeah. So many schools now have adopted a community breakfast program now because of that reason, I think.
Yes,
so,
they have.
Absolutely. So you've got, that looks really nice too. So you've got strawberries, you've got peanut butter and raisins.
Yep.
So this is a lunch option now that we're looking at?
Yep, so this is kind of like, you know, there's like your Lunchables that you can get in the grocery store.
Okay, so build your own Lunchable.
Yeah, maybe not so healthy, the ones in the box. So this is kind of build your own. And basically all I have is just a little pizza sauce that I got made out of no added salt tomato sauce.
Sure.
And all you really have to do is just kind of drizzle it on. So this is something that, I mean, your kids could make this at school.
Yeah.
And then just sprinkle on the cheese to make it more into the pizza. And you can add, you know, send extra vegetables or things like that to go with it too. So
awesome. And then how would you cook that? Like a toaster oven, or stick it in the oven for a while?
You could,
or just eat it as is.
Well, you could eat it as is, or you could stick it in the microwave if they have access to.
Oh, sure, that would work too. Excellent, excellent. Yeah. Laura, what do you got for us today? You've got you got chocolate here.
Yes, so I have a healthy after-school snack, and I actually got this recipe out of the book Super Snacks for Super Kids, which has a lot of really great recipes.
Yeah, and that's actually written by one of the physicians at Upland Hills Health, Dr. Sarah Fox.
Right. So there's a lot of great recipes in here. These are very easy to make, so they're great to make with your children too and get them excited about cooking.
Sure.
So this is easy. It's 1 cup of old-fashioned oats, which is a really good source of soluble fiber.
Okay.
A cup of toasted coconut. Half a cup of chocolate chips.
Okay.
Mine started melting a little bit, but I think that'll still be okay.
Okay. So you don't want them necessarily melted.
No.
You want them to be able to mix up a little bit. Okay.
But it'll still work. Chocolate's still good either way. A half a cup of peanut butter. Peanut butter is a really good source of protein.
Okay.
I have a half a cup of ground flaxseed. Flaxseed is a good source of healthy fats, fiber, and protein.
Okay.
A third of a cup of honey, and this is just gonna make it sweet, and honey, again, is just a natural sugar like Susan talked about with the fruit. It's a healthier type rather than adding sugar.
Okay.
And then just add a teaspoon or a little splash of vanilla for some extra flavor. So what I'm gonna do is kind of mix this all up.
All right.
Once this is mixed up really well, it would be best to put it in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes just to cool it before you make these into the little energy bites.
Okay.
But actually, you don't have to do that. It just makes it a little bit easier.
Sure.
Also, for storing it, you can store them in a Tupperware container, or you can store them in the refrigerator. It's sort of up to you, and it's sort of your preference.
Okay.
But these are a great recipe because when your kids come home from school, this is something they can easily just grab.
Sure, yeah.
And it's a really quick snack for them. It's pretty nutritious, but it also tastes good. So it's going to be a little bit healthier for you than just a granola bar.
I haven't been able to take my eyes off it since you started mixing, Laura. So yeah, it looks really really tempting. So I'm curious to know, and this is a question for both of you, what are some key components to make sure that your kids are eating in their breakfast and their lunch and their snacks, things like that?
Protein is really important. Protein helps them to stay full.
Okay.
So you're going to want to include something like cheese or dairy or meat or a good yogurt.
Sure.
A good source of protein. That just helps you to stay full and kind of tides you over till your next meal.
Sure.
Kids need more protein as well because they're growing.
Okay.
So it's really important for them while they're growing.
Yeah. And this This is a healthy option, and I think it's going to make it make eating healthy for kids very easy because it's looking good. Do you mind if I try one?
Try, go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully you like it.
Yeah.
And they're even better if you cool it first. But you can eat it just as is as well.
Okay.
And it's a really
Stick 'em in the
healthy,
refrigerator?
stick in the refrigerator, but this is something you could just have on hand, and it's a really healthy after school snack. Kids can come home and just grab it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Grab a little bit out of the refrigerator and energize.
Yep.
Well, Susan Ports and Laura Isaacson, we're out of time already. I can't believe it. Thank you so much for coming in and showing us these great options.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Don't go away. There's more Restaurant Show coming up right after this. Stick around. Coming up next on the Restaurant Show, Blowin' Smoke Barbecue.
Welcome back to the Restaurant Show. If you like barbecue, stick around because we're going to have a fabulous several minutes here with Robert Bishop, owner of Blowin' Smoke Barbecue. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Jessa. How are you?
I'm excited. I'm excited because we're going to talk about some fantastic food. You're going to show us what you do, show us where the magic happens, and barbecue is your thing. I mean, you know it top to bottom, so we're going to learn a thing or two from you today.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so first on the menu today is Kansas City, Carolina.
Right.
So first of all, what is this? Is it a sandwich, right?
It's a sandwich.
Okay.
It's derived from the Carolinas. They do pork with slaw in a cup with sauce, kind of
Okay.
their thing down there. Well, we elaborate on it a little bit, put it on a bun, add a little pepper jack cheese because it's Wisconsin.
Of course, it needs cheese and
turns it into
everything.
Kansas City style Carolina.
Okay, and the big thing there is the slaw and pork combo, right?
Right.
That makes it that way. Okay, so walk us through what you do. How do you
Okay,
start? So
yep.
some of the prep happens, of course, before
Yeah,
this
when we smoke the
process.
pork, it's about 8 to 10 hours.
Isn't that
The
incredible?
pork butt.
That's
And
really
it just falls off the
wow.
part like crazy.
So 8 to 10, did you say 8 to 10?
8 to 10 hours,
that's
yep.
That's a whole day that you're smoking
Yep.
this and really preparing it for this moment, for when you are ready to make a sandwich.
Yep, and just takes a few minutes to pop everything together, compose the sandwiches, and
That
you're
part's
good.
easy,
You're
but
ready to eat.
all the hard work has already been done.
Right.
So I love it. Okay, so of course you start with your layer of cheese.
Yep.
And then look at that pork.
A little
Looks so
pork
good
on
and
there,
tender.
add a little slaw.
What an interesting combo too. Now is the pork warm?
Yes.
Or how does
oh,
that?
it's good and hot.
So it's hot, and then you've got
Yep.
your cold slaw. So
Yep.
you've got kind of that. Oh, what a fun combination.
It's just kind of like the balance wheel. You're hot and you're cold.
Yes.
You're sweet and sour.
And it gives you a little bit of a crunch almost in there too. So
Yep,
you've got
yep.
some interesting texture. I
Right.
like that. Now let's talk. We were chatting a little bit about this before we started. I think it's fascinating because the barbecue styles do vary so much across just even the United States from one region to another.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the sauce differences you're sharing with me. I think that's
Well,
really
like down in the Carolinas, they use a lot of vinegar in their base or their sauce. You work a little bit west, they add a little mustard in there. Kansas City, we're all ketchup-based sauces.
interesting.
So a lot of barbecue is based on the type of sauce. I
Sure.
mean, they have different meats and stuff, different ways of doing it, but it comes down to the sauce. A lot of people here don't even need the sauce. We put a nice rub on there, hit with a
Okay.
lot of smoke. So
Oh,
it's kind
wonderful.
of like it's a little extra if you need
Okay,
it.
fantastic. So that's kind of unique, all the different where you get the different flavors from
Right.
throughout the United States.
That's what's good about bar. I mean, you could try 100 different kinds of barbecue in a day,
Right.
and you might love them all.
Isn't
you
that
know?
interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends what you're in the mood for. But this is fantastic. And we're going to talk smoked sausage too.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about that because
Okay.
that's another item that you make here from scratch, right?
Yep. We take our pork butt again. We grind it up, add some of our dry rub to it. Instead of putting it in casing, which I don't like to do because it doesn't really pick up on the smoke very well, we just form it by hand, roll it
Okay.
up, and we smoke it. It takes about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Interesting. So I see what you're saying. So basically the casing or the covering kind of prevents this smoking from,
Right, exactly.
from really getting into the meat.
Right.
And then what's the point, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha. So walk me through what you're going to
Okay.
do.
So yeah, this is about 3/4 of a pound of sausage is what we serve for dinner. We also serve this with
This
our,
right here is,
Right.
wow, okay.
We serve this with our lunch cheap also. It's kind of like our sampler platter. Get a little piece of sausage. But we just take and cut it on the bias.
Now, why do you do it that way? Is there a reason behind
Oh,
that?
it just looks a little nicer
It
than
does. I agree. I
That's
just
about
was
it.
curious if there was
That's
a,
about it. All appearance.
it's an aesthetic reason.
Just have a slight little bit of pink inside there if you can see that, I'm not sure.
Yes, okay. So if you're at home trying to do something like that, that's the right. It's hard when you're not doing it every day and you're not specialty like yourself to know exactly where's the sweet spot with something like that. I don't do sausage much, so how do you know? Just a little bit of
Well, trial and error. I've cooked it for
go.
5 hours and realized it turned into charcoal. You know, so I'm like, okay, well, you know, just basically, you know, trying different things and see what works best. And on my smokers, about 2 hours is just perfect at 200 degrees. We use a little bit of oak and pecan mix on that.
Yum, 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 yum. Okay, so now this is something that you do as a dinner dish.
Right.
Correct? Okay.
Yep.
So this is, you said actually, even though you're smoking this for hours, this is one of your probably easier dishes to put together.
It doesn't take too long to process.
Right.
You know, a few hours you can make about 20 or 30 3/4 pound logs.
All made from scratch. Look at that. That looks outstanding. So good.
Paired with a little broccoli raisin salad there.
Lovely.
One of our healthier options.
Yeah, get your greens in. Absolutely. Have your barbecue, get your greens in, and then you can justify the beer you're going to enjoy with it, right?
Or beers.
Or beers, yes, plural. Let's talk a little bit about catering before we go, because you do an amazing catering job, and all year round.
All year round, yep.
So you get barbecue, Kansas City barbecue in the middle of the winter, if you like. It doesn't matter. So that's wonderful. But talk to me about the size of party that you can cater to.
Well, no party's too small. We can do, I like to do, you know, around small business in town here, we can do 10 or 15, 20 people.
Great.
We've done up to 1,500 here in town with the Taste of Madison, or the Parade of Homes tour.
Okay,
We've done that for 5 years now.
1,500. Yeah. I mean, is that an all-day prep kind of?
It's an all-week prep kind of situation. Yeah,
I can imagine.
So it's hundreds of pounds of beef, hundreds of pounds of pork, about 300 pounds of ribs. But
that's a specialty.
It's a long, busy week, but
no kidding. But how much fun! You get to cater a big party like that.
When people come out and they just love the food, you know, it's what makes it all worth it.
Oh, you got it. So. Well, and I'm looking at your catering menu here too, and the pricing is incredibly reasonable.
We have excellent catering prices.
No kidding, you really do. I mean, it's just all these choices for one, but it includes sides. And even down to the plates and napkins.
Plates, forks, and napkins. Pickles come with.
Wow. So it's a one-stop.
It's just all about trying to get good food out there for a good price.
Absolutely.
I don't want to gouge people with pricing, you know, and stuff.
And it takes the worry and stress out of everything too. You know, you've got enough going on when you're planning a party.
Yep. Especially the weddings, you know.
Yeah. Have you done some weddings?
We've done a lot of weddings.
I bet you
We've got 2 this weekend coming up. So.
Wow. What a fun thing
I mean,
to do for a wedding.
it's people think barbecue. I don't want to get it messy. Well, all our sauce is on the side, so it's not like it's going to drip all over the place.
Go.
So yeah, gals with their wedding dresses, no worries.
Right, side sauce. We're in good shape. And remind people where they can find you.
We're in Wanakee on the west side at 113 and Arboretum, kind of tucked right back in the beginning of a residential area.
Gorgeous space here, great location, inside and out, fabulous catering. Thank you so much.
Nice patio.
Yeah, fantastic patio. Robert Bishop, owner of Blow and Smoke Barbecue. We appreciate it. Some great food. We'll get to eating, and we'll be back with more Restaurant Show coming up after this.
Thanks for joining us today here on the Restaurant Show. I hope that when you're out and about looking for a restaurant or at the grocery store that you will consider supporting local. That's all the time we have for today on the Restaurant Show. This is Justin Riley reminding you that life is too short to eat average. We'll see you next time.
This episode of The Restaurant Show brought to you by AccuCline Mechanical Services.